It is Thursday morning. I greet you in Jesus' precious name. It is the 29th of December, the year 2022, and this is your friend Angus Buchan with a thought for the day. If we start off in the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 12. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing steadfastly in prayer. The Lord is speaking to us today about Christian character. We shall be known by our fruit, the fruit we produce. Now, I want you to do something for me today that I've never asked you to do before. I want you to get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and I want you to listen to a story that I want to tell you. Yes, I am going to go a little bit over time because it's holiday time, and I really believe that you need to hear this story. So we shall be known by our fruit. Now, if we go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and I'm reading one verse, and that is verse 16. Jesus says, "You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles?" Definitely not. So we need to be happy because the Lord tells us very clearly in Romans chapter 12 and verse 12, joyful in hope. We need to be patient when we go through hard times, patience, and we need to be steadfast in prayer. You see, it's not so much what you say that counts, but rather how you live that really matters. Now, I want to tell you about an old couple. But before I tell you about them, I want to say to you, I have had the privilege, because of the nature of my work, to have met some amazing celebrities right around the world. Some of them you see on television, some of them are household names. And I'm talking about sportsmen, I'm talking mainly about preachers, but I'm talking about politicians. But I want to tell you about an old couple that have impacted my life more than any of those celebrities. Now, when I was a young man, I was pulling stumps out of fields, trying to develop new maize fields. And the one day I was working hard and I probably wasn't in a very good mood. And this old motor car drove up alongside on our farm road, and it stopped, and an old gentleman got out and his dear wife was sitting in the passenger side, and there was steam coming out from underneath the bonnet of the motor car. That didn't seem to deter him at all. He introduced himself. He said, "My name is Jimmy, and that is Moira sitting in the car." Uncle Jimmy and Auntie Moira arrived on our farm. He said, "The Lord has told me I have to come here and help you." I said, "Well, the Lord didn't tell me anything." He said, "No, but he told us, and that's good enough." I said, "Fine." I said, "Well, where's all your furniture and all your worldly possessions?" He said, "In the back of the car." Anyway, we gave him a little house to stay in. And Uncle Jimmy and Auntie Moira stayed with us until the day that Jesus took them home. What characters they were. Uncle Jimmy's job was to take the children to school every day. And he would pile them into the back of his little pickup with the canopy on. They were all squashed in the back. They were always late for school. They would say, "Please, Uncle Jimmy, could you go a bit faster?" And he would say, "Yes, I'll put the wings out today." But he never broke the speed limit, and he never got them there on time. He had a wicked sense of humor. He would pull up to a stop street, and the children would be dawdling across the road, going to school, and he'd stick his head out the window, and he had a full set of false teeth. He would drop his false teeth, and they would go screaming across the road. They'd seen some kind of a demon. He was joyful in hope. But he also had a lot of tribulation in his life. He only had one son, and his son was a traffic officer, just newly appointed. He was so proud of him. And one day his son was gunned down in cold blood at a roadblock. Uncle Jimmy battled to get past that one, but he never ever spoke about it. It took a terrible toll on him. He never complained. When he was about 15 or 16 years old, Uncle Jimmy forged his mother's signature so that he could become a sailor in the Royal Navy. But while he was in the Royal Navy, he contracted TB, and it weakened his chest, and he never really came right from that. Uncle Jimmy was a great prayer warrior. Auntie Moira often would say to me, he never slept again last night. He couldn't breathe properly. He spent the night on his knees in the sitting room praying. Uncle Jimmy was a big influence in my life. I was with him when he died. The last thing he said to me was, Jock, that's what he used to call me, probably my Scottish roots. He said, Jock, I love you. Please take care of Moira. I said I would, Uncle Jimmy, and I did until she went home to be with Jesus as well. I'm so looking forward to seeing him, both of them, in heaven one day. Go out today and be Jesus to a hurting world. God bless you, and goodbye.